NFL preseason week 2 is in the books for the Miami Dolphins as they went into Detroit and beat the Lions 24-17. And on today's show, we're going to take a look at my top 5 winners and top 5 losers from the second Dolphins preseason game. I am Nic Rohloff. Before we get into the winners and losers list, make sure you do subscribe because this is the channel for you if you love Dolphins football, news, rumors, watch parties, weekly Tuesday live shows. Join the channel under 100 subscribers away from 72K. Let's get there today. The number one winner on my list is UDFA wide receiver Theo Wease Jr. The Missouri product has been really good all offseason long, started in OTAs, kept it rolling in minicamp, and has had a really strong preseason and training camp to this point. And it all came to the boiling point of his performance on Saturday against Detroit, where he hauled in 6 passes for 80 yards, including 2 scores. He is clearly the number one target for rookie QB Quinn Ewers, and how can you blame him? The 6'2" wide receiver has consistently created separation over the middle of the football field and is in a really solid spot to potentially make this Dolphins 53-man roster. I like the size, I like the hands, I like the playmaking ability with the ball in his hands to keep him and potentially have a flyer on him in the future. It's going to be a brutal decision because to me, it is decided between Theo Wease Jr. and Taj Washington as this potential wide receiver 6 when the 53-man roster was revealed. I do not envy the decision makers at the Dolphins organization. Number 2 is Jordan Phillips, and I think our software messed up here because that's the Bills' Jordan Phillips and not the Dolphins' rookie. But the Maryland defensive lineman has had just one heck of a preseason to this point. He was awesome last week in terms of his ability to stuff some runs. I will never forget the play at the goal line where he was double-teamed. He sheds both of them and then makes the tackle at the 1-yard line to stand up the Bears running back from getting into the end zone. And then today, he just was absolutely disruptive. 4 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1.5 sacks. Jordan Phillips has looked like a home run selection for the Miami Dolphins in the 5th round out of Maryland. He is clearly the defensive lineman number 4 on this roster. There's really no debate about it. In order, probably it goes Zach Sealer, Benito Jones, Kenneth Grant, and Jordan Phillips. Will Miami keep 5? We will see. But Phillips is off to one heck of a start. And if the preseason is any indictment on how his career will fare with Miami, I think Dolphins fans are going to be very, very excited. Dee Eskridge is the 3rd winner on my list. This wide receiver has just consistently been one of the best players on the Dolphins offense this entire offseason. He was waived by Seattle last year, picked up by Miami. They stashed him on the practice squad, kept him around through the offseason, and he has just been absolutely phenomenal in the training camp and preseason portion. Had 3 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown in this game on Saturday. All 3 catches, by the way, happened on the same drive. And he almost had a 40-yard score, but was ultimately tackled from behind at the 10-yard line after he caught a screen pass on 2nd and 13 and turned it upfield. Eskridge has been dominating in joint practices as well as training camp. He is a roster lock. He is without a question the 5th wide receiver on this Dolphins 53-man roster when is it inevitably announced. Eskridge is also a good special teams player. Did fumble, but luckily was covered by Channing Tindall, so I was able to keep Eskridge on the winners list. But either way, he is such a dynamic playmaker for Miami and a very, very, very valuable member of this 53-man group when it's revealed at the end of the month. We got a couple more winners to get to, but let me know who your biggest winner is from the Dolphins' second preseason game between Miami and Detroit. Get down in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. 4th on my list, Grayson Murphy. He was a winner last week. He is a winner again for the Miami Dolphins. The second-year UDFA edge from UCLA is just taking advantage of every single opportunity that he has had at this point. Mo Kamara has been out with an injury. He has not played in the first 2 preseason games. Quentin Bell has gotten not much playing time, but it's clear Bell is ahead of him on the depth chart because of his lack of playing time. But Murphy has just made play after play after play. Had a sack last week to go alongside with a pair of QB hits and 3 pressures. In today's game, had another sack coming around the edge, had a TFL, 3 total tackles, as well as 4 QB hits. Grayson Murphy has had a strong camp. He continues to get after the quarterback in these preseason games. I am having a hard time finding a justifiable reason why Grayson Murphy would not be on the 53-man roster when it is announced in a couple weeks. He is trending upward, 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 and I no longer view Mo Kamara as a roster lock because of how well Grayson Murphy has played. Quinn Ewers is the final winner on this list. The 7th-round rookie quarterback out of Texas has just been absolutely terrific in training camp. Had one of the worst preseason games I have ever seen in my entire life in the game against the Bears, where he went 5 of 18 and was inaccurate, was sloppy, lethargic, and it was just brutal. But this game completely bounced back. He was confident. He was poised. Everything he lacked in game 1, he showcased in game 2. Yes, he had a couple misses, and I can't understand what it is, and it's a mechanical issue, I assume. He can't throw to the boundary. He tried a left throw to the boundary in game 1, missed his guy Theo Wease Jr., missed a guy to the right as well in game 1. And then in game 2 here today, the only time that he was inaccurate is when he was throwing to the boundary, trying to throw out routes. He missed a guy low inside. Then he missed a guy a little bit outside. Like, I don't get it, but whatever it is, if it's confidence, if it's mechanical, if it's footworks, Quinn Ewers can't throw to the outside right now. But he also made a lot of good decisions today. And he was pinpoint accurate. I mean, pinpoint accurate over the middle of the football field. Mike McDaniel was kind of in his bag the way he was creating some of these play-action looks for Quinn Ewers. Had a couple guys come wide open over the middle of the field. But we also saw Quinn roll out to his left, fire a perfect dart to Terry Black on the move. Now, it was batted down by a great play by the defensive player, but it was still a pinpoint accurate pass. And then he had that play with Theo Wease Jr. where he was rolling to his left. They locked eyes. Quinn Ewers threw it behind Wease. Wease stopped on a dime, let the corner run by him, and he made the catch. Ewers was phenomenal. Him and Theo Wease Jr. have a connection that is just fun to watch. Coming up, we got 5 preseason losers in week 2 for Miami. But before we get into all of that, I want to make sure the Dolphins fans are aware of this sale because I don't know if it's going to be on sale much longer. If you go to chatsports.com/MIA hoodie, you can grab this Dolphins Aqua hoodie for $32 off, usually $69, now available for $37. Yes, you heard that correctly. That is not a typo or a misspeak. Go to chatsports.com/MIA hoodie. Links in the description and comments of today's video. The number 1 loser in my book is Jaylen Wright. And now this is back-to-back weeks of the second-year RB trending downward, in my opinion. I thought he was a surefire lock to be RB2 for the Miami Dolphins this year after a promising rookie season as well as a good preseason last year. I no longer view that as the case because he has not been sharp. He has not had good vision. And I don't like the way he's ran the football. And when he put the ball on the deck in the red zone, I get concerned. Now, the Dolphins were able to recover the fumble. Thank God it bounced right to Tanner Connor. But the point still remains the same, that he put the ball on the deck while carrying it inside the 15. That simply can't happen. Last week in preseason number 1, he had 9 carries for 16 yards. Yes, he scored a touchdown, but not efficient whatsoever. And in this game, he had 4 carries for 3 yards. That's terrible. Like, it is just not good at any point. I hope that he turns it around, and I hope that I end up being proven wrong. But I have zero, and I mean zero, confidence in Jaylen Wright being the RB2 during the regular season with how he has looked in the first 2 preseason games. I do not want to overreact, but when I see it in back-to-back weeks, it gives me a slight concern. I am sorry, but this is where I stand when it comes to Jaylen Wright and Ollie Gordon. And I think Ollie Gordon could potentially be your RB2. Like with Madison hurt, this is a real potential outcome for the Dolphins depth chart. I mean, Ollie Gordon had a great first game against Chicago, and even though he didn't reach pay dirt this week, had another good week in the second half. 10 carries, 50 yards. Had a real good burst up the middle that went for 19, where he looked like he shot out of a cannon, and then absolutely layered the boom on a safety. It was one of the biggest highlights from this game. And with Wright trending downwards, I feel as if Ollie Gordon is trending towards a spot where he could be the RB2 when the regular season rolls around to Devon Achane. Aaron Shamplin and Mike Boone fighting for that RB4 spot. Both had solid days. Shamplin actually had a 26-yard run. But, man, Wright and Gordon, this RB2 battle is far from over. And if we're just going off trends, I feel like OJ, too, might be heading in the right direction. Who is your RB2? If you had to pick one, who would it be? Type W for Jaylen Wright. Type G for Ollie Gordon. I feel like most Dolphins fans are turning into an Ollie Gordon truther fan base. Could be with that. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Number 2 loser, Pharoah Brown. Now, I don't think Pharoah Brown, if I'm remembering correctly, made my loser list last week, but he was on my updated Dolphins cut candidate list following the first preseason game earlier this week. Pharoah Brown's going to be on that list once again. I don't think he's been impressive whatsoever. He has not really been able to make plays. He had an illegal procedure earlier in the game, too, as well. There has been nothing to prove to me that I should be able to trust Pharoah Brown in the regular season as an inline tight end. I don't even think he had a reception today. He didn't even have a target today. When I'm thinking about this Dolphins depth chart, at this point, I think I'm only keeping 3 tight ends, folks. And we're keeping Darren Waller, even though there's no guarantee there. But your 3 tight ends are probably it's going to be Tanner Connor, Darren Waller, and Julian Hill. I mean, Julian Hill didn't even play today. He was in sweats. So even though we don't really like Julian Hill at this channel, he's going to be on this roster because he was in sweats, and that just tells you he looks as a starter for this Dolphins football team, for better or for worse. Either way, I mean, I think Pharoah Brown is certainly on the potentially cut block for Miami. I'm going to put head coach Mike McDaniel as a loser, even though I said a little bit earlier that he was in his Duffy with some of these play-action designed plays in the second half for our guy, Quinn Ewers. I also saw multiple illegal formations and illegal shifts for Miami. And if we're going to be honest, I get it. We were working with second-teamers and third-teamers today. This just can't continue to happen. And even though McDaniel is one of the most innovative and creative play designers and callers in the entire NFL, sometimes all of this motion and the late play calls that get into the quarterback ultimately result in these disastrous pre-snap penalties. And it just has continued to rear its ugly head in the first couple of games of the preseason, which is why I put McDaniel on the loser list. Is it a crazy, oh my God, what are we doing loser list? No, I do not think so. But McDaniel certainly needs to tighten up the ship a little bit more as we approach the regular season. AJ Henning makes the losers list. I almost took him off, but I did not. Muffed a punt. Listen, when you are someone not even close to being on the 53-man roster, you simply can't make any mistakes, and he just did. He had the opportunity to let the punt land. Instead, he tries to sprint and get up there and snag a punt, and he just bounced it right off of his chest, and ultimately was a turnover and set up the Lions for a score late in that second quarter. He did have a nice snag later in the game to where Ewers threw a dart in between a linebacker and corner, and he caught it right in his back shoulder in stride and still picked up the first down. And I like some of his explosiveness in the special teams department as well, but he is not projected to be in this 53-man roster. And then when he muffs the punt, well, he's probably going to get caught. But I'd still take him on the practice squad. Last loser, it's Ethan Bonner. Not because of play, but because of circumstance. He is the lone player to get hurt in this preseason game for Miami. Left in the first half with a lower body injury. He went to the medical tent and then went to the locker room. Bonner is on the fringe of this roster. He's like the CB6 or CB7. And if he's out for multiple weeks, well, he's probably going to end up being cut because are you going to really keep him with him not being able to show you 2 weeks of play in the final preseason game and then in the practices to follow? So, and unfortunately it's not a good spot for Bonner. We'll see where things stand with his injury early this week. But he's behind Sheffield on the depth chart, behind Duck, behind Hilton, on the same line as Jack Jones. Jason Marshall Jr. is right there with him. Like, Bonner, probably a cut candidate at this point, especially if he misses time with an injury. Show him some love, though, because you never want someone to potentially get cut or be out of a job because they happen to get injured. So spam those EBs down in the comment section to show Ethan Bonner some love right now. And that'll do it for today's show. Make sure you do subscribe. We're going to have more coverage on Dolphins training camp and preseason this week. We'll have some injury news early in this upcoming week, as well as be live on Tuesday and Saturday for the final preseason game. And then we'll be right there ready to roll for week 1 and roster cutdown day. Subscribe and join the channel. See you tomorrow with another video. Go Fins.